What's up, my friends? Dustin Stelzer with Electrician U. Today we have a guest. We have Pettus from Housecall Pro. For those of you that don't know what Housecall Pro is, actually, Brooks, why don't I let you sell your own company?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, welcome.
Congratulations to you as well and all of your success, momentum you have in helping people in the trades do better. I think that's very close to your sense of motivation is very similar to Housecall Pro's sense of purpose. Like, I joined this company 7 years ago when we were roughly 1,000 pros signed up for our technology. And, we were a very small company back then. And we had this mission. The mission because our founder, one of our three founders, core founders, and then CEO, Ian Haidt. I met with him that first day when I was interviewing him to take this job. And he had this obsession around helping people like his dad, Butch. His dad, Butch, was a painter. He grew up in a family of the trades, saw how hard his dad worked, could always provide for his family. Really hard for him to go build a small business successfully. And Ian is wicked smart. When I say smart, like off the chain smart. He's like, hey, we can help people like my dad do better. And we built a company called Housecall Pro to give people like Butch in the trades software and services that align with our mission, like help pros get to success, champion them all the way to success. And we built this company around really easy to use software that could be an operating system for your small business, like schedule, dispatch, invoice, get paid, manage reputation. That is the core of what Housecall Pro does today. And today it's for tens of thousands of pros who have subscribed to our offering. And we're north of 40,000 people that use this, that subscribe to the product. Hundreds of thousands of actual users on the product every single day, with tens of billions of GMV flowing through all the jobs they're doing, flowing through our business. It's a remarkable company. Yet it all comes back to the same mission, the same sense of purpose you have, I think, which is caring for, investing in the success of people in the trades so they can be better off tomorrow than they are right now. And that's the whole business that we built about it. So I've been here for 7 years and built this company with the founders through this incredible story arc. Yet I will tell you, everything we do today is as aligned with the reason I came to this business 7 years ago. It's just service to people in the trades and them getting to a better probability of outcome and succeeding. So they can take care of their families, take care of their employees, take care of and be a part of their community as well. Remarkable.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people don't really realize when they're in the trades, they're journeymen, they've been doing this for 10 years, they're like really skilled at what they do. But once you get a master license or you get a contractor's license and you decide to go out on your own, you don't realize that you're now an apprentice in a new trade that you have no clue about. You don't know revenue, margin, you don't know coming up with, what your price should be or how to track customers and have a database of your customers and follow it. Like, there's so much to know that I think even now, with as much as technology is increasing, especially for the younger generations, I think having new technologies that are as simple as literally picking up your phone and running your entire operation off that phone, like, it's key. And we have to have that.
I couldn't agree with you more. This medium is where the pros live every day. I mean, our customers are on that platform in their office 8 to 9 hours a day. If you're out in the field, you're on that thing 2.5 to 3 hours a day, running your business from your phone. That's how we built the company. Now there's bigger companies that use us, bigger shops that use us. So they have people in the office, they have people all over. But we really built a software for whether it's somebody who's a boomer, a Gen Xer, or a Gen Z, millennial, anywhere in that spectrum, where you can use technology and be successful. It has to be easy to use. It has to be wildly simple and intuitive to fat thumb it out in the field or to type away at your desk if you're in the office. Yeah. And that's really what the founder's vision was, is that technology, it's just, everything's going to go from offline to online, right? Everything in our world that we live in, it's just a question of when, not if. And so they had that vision. They said, let's build really easy to use software, mobile first, ideally on the phone. Yeah. That can help that pro run their business from the field or their office and be successful. And to your point, like, most of those pros, our customers, are amazingly successful at doing the work. And they figure out how to take care of their customer. Running a small business, building a successful small business, I might as well be asking to learn Greek. Like, it is freaking hard. Yeah. And yet they figured out on their own, trial and error. Many of them fail. Yet they partner with Housecall Pro, and we like radically increase our odds of succeeding and growing. They grow like 30% their first year when they go onto software. Why? Because it's like a systematic approach to running a small business, and they win. And it's like, oh my God, it's like life changing. So
Yeah.
like, technology is pervasive. It's just a question of like, not if you're going to adopt it, when you're going to adopt it, and what you're motivated to do to get there, sooner than later, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my first electrical contracting company, when I first started up, I was using hand scratch methods like I was taught by the older generation before me. A lot of them were, going out and like highlighting all of their material takeoffs on a plan, and they were writing things down by hand, and they were writing phone numbers, but then you end up like losing track of that. And so I saw some other companies that had really great file management, but it's literally folders and files hung on walls of every customer.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
just,
Awesome.
yeah. And then when you got to go dig for something, you're digging through like drawers of cabinets of stuff. And it's just, it was
All that
great.
carbon copy paper, you're like, oh my God, I can't
Yeah,
believe
there was.
This is on it. It's amazing.
Yeah, we had service books that, the techs would go out in the field and they'd write task 1, task 2, here's what we did, hand write a bill, hold it, and we'd tear off the yellow copy and keep that. And it was great. That has worked for so long. But the second I was introduced to Housecall Pro by somebody that was an HVAC friend of mine that just started his own company, he was like, dude, I have this app and it's so intuitive and so easy to use. And I have all my customers' data here. I can communicate from if I want to tell the customer I'm on the way, or if I want to set reminders that, hey, there's a tech coming out in 2 days, just to, remind you to like be home and let us in. Like little things like that were so amazing. And then a central database of every job that I've done with a history of what I've invoiced, what I've billed. You guys had custom pricing, so I could put different items that I do a lot. And it was just like, oh, this is amazing. I don't have to know. I don't have to have years of experience learning from somebody how to do this, because it's all right here. So,
yeah, I mean, it should just be like a playbook that you quickly just wade into, understand. Like that on my way text was by far the most adopted, easiest to understand feature that we built in those early days. And now it's very common in almost any kind of software. Whether you go to the dentist, or whether you go into your, doctor, whether you go into using a job, doing a job in the home, the courtesy of reminder, the courtesy of on my way. But back then, 8 years ago, these guys started this business up. It was a game changer because it built trust. And the pro, like in their primordial brain, they know that customer care really matters, not just the quality of the work. Like here's an example, like in your trade, I can't, like the lights go on or they don't. Like that's all I can tell you about whether electrical work is successful.
Yeah.
Yet everything in the trades, this is a great lesson for anyone doing the work that we've just seen the pattern of all these customers we have, is that the great pros quickly figure out is not the work itself. It is the trust they build. It is the feeling they engender that they create with their customer. Does my wife feel safe inviting you, strange guy, into her house when I'm not home and doing work in her home? That's actually the whole deal. Like, and that really creates like the reminders of when the job is, the easy communication path, that on my way notification. So she's out running errands. She can come home and be here ready. Like literally, when my wife feels safe, when pros come to our house, she will literally give them coffee, make them cookies to say thank you and for doing the job. It's that trust that's built, and on my way notification was a game changer early on along that path. And when our pros, kind of like you're talking about, they figure out, hey, there's this old world process I had. I got pen and paper. I got stuff on a whiteboard over here. That's fine. It works. Like it works. Yet when I can use technology, take that big step forward in the brave new world of technology, I can create more trust with Mrs. Pettus, with the customer. And that's when the light bulb goes on, like, holy crap, trust equals more success, equals customer I have for a lifetime. And that same woman, my wife, will go tell all her friends and refer business over to you. And that's when the magic happens in these companies. And it's because technology enabled a feeling. It's really, it's a sort of perverse thing, but the technology enabled a feeling because it made things easier, more predictable, a feeling of being safer in your home. And that was like the big aha moment that the founders our product like wizards figured out that they could create feeling through emotion that is automated in software, and boom, off you go. And so all I had to do was go tell the story as the head of the sales team and go sell that narrative, and it's done incredibly well for us. We've been really blessed.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of positioning yourself as a guru, sort of, to solve a problem. Have you heard of the book Story Brand?
No, I don't know. I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, so if you read business books at all, StoryBrand is a really simplified model. It's kind of the hero's journey of, like the Lion King or Harry Potter, where somebody's going on a journey and they meet a guru that gives them some skills and helps them get to the end and save the day. So positioning your brand to be the guru, not the star of the show, because the customer is the star of the show, but trying to figure out what is the biggest problem for the customer and how can we offer something that makes them the hero and it keeps them away from the bad thing and brings them towards the good thing. But it's a really good book, and it helps you kind of position and like think about how you position your company in that way.
Yeah, Dustin, have you send me that after we talk today? I'd like to read, because I read books all the time, try to find these little kernels of truth and insight that I can borrow, steal, whatever it is, and incorporate them in my own philosophies, practices, and leading others and serving our customer, which is exactly the deal. Like that magic is that moment of hero is the customer feels safe. They want us to come in their home and do the work, and they'll invite us back. And when you hit that magical moment, then you're creating these lifetime value customers, and everything changes in your business. Like the most pros just think it's about the next customer, next customer, next customer, next job, next job, next job. It really isn't. Like the magic, and we have a product that service agreements that manages this. And teaching pros, like I have these guys came here. I'll tell you a story about this, right? So moved this house a year and a half ago. I've had a dozen different tradespeople come here. And now I only let Housecall Pros come here because you're going to be a Housecall Pro user, or you're going to get a demo if you want to come work in my home at this point, because I just want to create that. I want to get more technology into life. This guy comes yesterday to go clean my windows, and he had started the program about 6 months ago. He was hacking his way through the program, yet it was light years ahead of anything he'd been doing before in the pen and paper world. So even though he's using a fraction of what we could do, because he just hadn't paid attention, done any training, he just fat thumbed it. He was already a huge step forward. And then we started talking about service agreements. I was like, all right, you want to come clean these windows? How often in my house typically? He goes, well, better every 3 months. I said, well, we got a tool for that. Build a service agreement where I sign up for a monthly program with you. I'm going to pay you $10 a month as a kind of Netflix fee to your business. And I get a 10% discount on any services I have. And I'm committing to 4 times a year you come to my home. And I literally wrote the service agreement out with him so that he could create a recurring revenue model. Wow. I nor my wife will never think about who cleans our windows or our solar panels in this house ever again, because Squeegee Bros will be back in here every 3 months because that service agreement, which is a tool in Housecall Pro that they wouldn't have had otherwise, it's all right there in the flow. And they're now creating a better business, right? Because that customer is a customer for a lifetime that will go refer to people, all the things I said. So like that's the magic of technology, is that it helps pros get from that old world to the new world and do things better. It's easier. It generates more revenue with them, generates more profit with them. Suddenly they're successful as both the work and as being an entrepreneur and as being a small business person. It's unbelievable, like life-changing kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and it also can inform people that aren't in the know about the way of doing things without them having to learn it. So like having a service agreement, a lot of people might not know what a service agreement is. And so when they have an app that like has an option for a service agreement and they're like, oh my God, I can get recurring revenue from customers if I have a service, or even invoicing, people that have never put an actual invoice or an estimate together. The fact that you guys already prompt with each thing, here's what you need to do, and here's how you send it, and here's how you make an invoice out of it. It's just genius, and I think you guys are doing really great with it.
Yeah, we are. Like it is an incredible company. We went back from so the way the business has evolved is interesting, all around technology and services, right? But core operating system: schedule, dispatch, invoice, get paid, manage reputation. It's been that way for 7 years. That's the core of what we do. Today, though, we have literally become a one-stop shop, single sign-on solution for the pro, except for turn the wrench, take care of that customer. We will give you a product or service and the support to do anything else you want to do in that small business. And again, it's just, we create so much value, but such a really compelling price point that the pro has to say yes. And do they say hell yes every time? Like, oh, hell yeah, that's going to change my life. They don't always get that much religion on day one. Most do, not all do. Right? Because they kind of like that pen and paper and the whiteboard. They like their old way of cobbling weird solutions together because it worked.
Yeah, it's something they know. It's familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. And they felt successful with it. What we just try to say is that we can help you do better. But there's a better way to do this. Your way's good, There's just a better way to do it. Let the technology, to your point, get you from A to B to C to D in a logical path that we know is really repeatable. It gets you to a 5-star experience. It gets you to that repeat customer, lifetime value customer. And that's when the great things happen. So like old world, new world, it's like old world worked. Brave new world is better. We can help you get there. We'll be your partner. We'll serve you. And we are wholly about that customer success. And that's why we've been as blessed as we have as a company. Like it's that sense of purpose and the way we built that software and the way we serve the pro. And I'll tell you, like it's the greatest job in the world, watching pros get to success.
Yeah.
Like this kid here yesterday, hacking his way through his small business, successful despite himself, because of himself, all the things, right? And yet I taught him like 3 things when he was here. And he's already today, like in our coaching program today versus yesterday. And he went through onboarding this morning to actually learn how to use all the things the right way. And like, it's just like these light bulb moments. And those are like, when you realize, hey, we're like so lucky to get to do what we do every day. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's funny. That's what I like about teaching. It's having an apprentice that you've told something 7 times to, they have no clue. And, they're trying and trying. And then they finally get it one day and they're like, oh, it's like that moment. I love that moment.
It's the big aha moment, right? Like I've had them in my life so many times, and to watch that, like literally watch their eyes just light up, like, oh, now I get what you're talking about. Oh, that's going to help me do this and that. It's just like there's no better business to be in. I can imagine. It really is awesome.
Yeah. So when you first started Housecall Pro, was it aimed at like a specific trade, or was the intent always to just let all trades use it?
So originally, the business, before I got here and I joined the founders, again, 7 years ago or so, it was going to be a marketplace to kind of match up the consumer that needed to go find a pro, but it didn't have a really good repeatable nature to it. You can find that customer goes off book like so many marketplaces. Our founders, as smart as they are, they figured out, well, there's a better way to do it. Let's just build an operating system that helps the butches of the world actually run their business versus go trying to find a customer. So they built the operating system. And with that, we found our early success. And it was really like a one-person shops. And it was largely carpet cleaners. Carpet cleaners come in, 3-hour job. They can do 2-3 jobs in a day. They're in I estimate it on the spot. I get the job on the spot. I do the work on the spot. I give you the invoice. So the operating system at its core really served that pros out in the field, and something that's really repeatable and clear and similar price point all day long, like carpet cleaning.
Yeah.
Over time, we've seen the mechanical trades explode. So HVAC, plumbing, electrical. You throw a couple more in there that are like those 3, but those are the biggest lion's share of the business today because of a whole range of factors. But the jobs make up, largely 80% are residential, 20% commercial. They're repeatable kind of jobs. They're easy to use a price book. You go bid the job, you estimate job, you do the things in the operating system. And that's the audience that's really taken off at a faster clip than all the audience. I mean, honestly, Dustin, we have like 100 different trades that use our operating system today. It's bananas. Like if you read something like, you got to be kidding me like that. But if they do a job in the home or on some light commercial site, it's a great fit for them. And so the business has gone from carpet cleaner out in the field to typically 5 to 10 person companies that are using this. So still very small businesses, and helps them all just do the things they need to do in the day to day to win. So. Yeah,
and it seems like it's been a few years since I've used your guys' software, but it seemed at the time, at least, that it was service-based, strictly service-based. Mm-hmm. What about somebody out there that's like running a job site where they're on a job for 8 months?
Yeah, that's probably not our game. Now we invested in a company that is doing remodeling work and sort of longer term projects in the home. So we do have there's more kind of project management, long-term estimates feeding back towards an estimate progress report. Then we have a business that actually serves that sector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the core of what Housecall Pro does is residential, light commercial, where you're in a job and it's probably 2 weeks or less is a typical time frame, and the vast majority of jobs are done inside of 3 days, and the majority are certainly done within a day or on the spot. So it's just the nature of who our customer is. It isn't long-term project management for construction sites. That's just not a sector we go into, at least not yet. Today, it's really a residential experience, probably in a day to 2 weeks on average. And that's how we help the pro get things done.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Just I'm fortunate enough to like talk to a lot of brands and developers of technology and stuff, and it seems like it's nearly impossible, or it's just ungodly expensive to try to build the one app for, that does it all for long-term construction as well as service calls. And I guess like largely a lot of the companies out there are kind of one way or the other. You're either service or you're new construction, but it seems like these bigger companies will have new construction as their 80% core, but they're still doing 20% service calls constantly. So
they always have a service. Well, not always. Most will have a service division.
Yeah.
Because it's good margin and keeps our crews rolling around the edges of things and develops new customer bases for some of those bigger projects. And so like if you're doing a big commercial multi-year, building a hospital or building a, airport terminal, that's probably not for us. But some of the work that comes into play as a sub along that way, you're probably going to find a good fit with Housecall Pro. And so, and new home construction, not dissimilar, tend to be longer term projects with a lot of dimensions to it. Now, again, the company we invested in has that dimension, so we're going to be able to offer that too. But again, like the 2-year building an airport, probably not going to be us anytime soon. But building a new home, all the way back to remodel, all the way back to the residential service install, that's our wheelhouse. Yeah.
So, what would you say your scale? Well, what kind of scale of customers do you have? Like, is it if you get somebody in, they start their company, they got 5, 10 techs. After a couple of years, they get 20, 30. Is Housecall Pro a product that can scale up to like 100, 200 employees?
That's a great question. And, if you'd asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd be like, we're probably good to 1 to 10. Really, like our wheelhouse is 1 to 10. In the last couple of years, we took our product and engineering teams and basically 10x'd the size of it. A huge investment in our technology teams so we could go build more stuff, to start shipping code.
Yeah.
And we ended up building a whole suite of tools and solutions to deal with that bigger customer, that more sophisticated customer who's running a multi-dimension business, who's probably now hung his boots up or her boots up, not out in the field very often, back in the office, really operating as an operator. And so that kind of 1 to 10 wheelhouse of 2 years ago, we sort of focus on 1 to 20. Okay. It really is. You pick the shoulders up to 20, 30, 40 trucks, you can still run that business on Housecall Pro. And we call it the mid-sized customer at that point. And we have a really strong offering from top to bottom for that pro who's a full-time operator running that business and thinking about growing 2 or 3 trucks every year and making that capital investment to do so and has that vision. We can give you all the tools, all the services you need to be a mid-sized operator today. Now, you're running 100 trucks to 200 trucks. There might be a competitor that likes that business better than us. Just not a place we extend into, but we have pros that have hundreds of customers. It's just not the typical in our bread basket, bread and butter every day kind of pro. Just think 1 to 20, really kind of 20, 30, 40 person businesses. Man, we can just give you unbelievable value in that size company today.
Well, I'm sure too, companies that are running, $200 million a year revenue, they probably have custom stuff created specifically for their business. So,
my brother-in-law had an HVAC company, built it, sold it, became part of a big roll-up. And at some point they outgrow anybody who's going to be a SaaS product, and they go build their own solution at that point.
Yeah.
It's just the way their accounting works, the way they think about managing networks all over the country. They'll outgrow everybody and start building a proprietary passage. Exactly right. So pretty typical. But look, it's a pyramid, right? Like there aren't that many companies up here at the pointy end of the pyramid. All the companies are in that 1 to 10 space. If there's a couple million companies in the trades, the vast, and like 78% of them live in the base. Yeah. They're not up there at the top of the pyramid. That's just very small addressable market ultimately.
Yeah. It takes a lot to transition yourself to wanting to be in a local city and have maybe a couple different branches in neighboring cities to wanting to be a nationwide, enterprise like that. That takes a certain kind of person, I think, to want to be able to do something like that. So,
a certain kind of vision, a certain kind of operator, unbelievable systems installed at that point that scale. Everything in my life is about how do you take something from 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 100 and scale it up. Mm-hmm. Just what I do for a living, and finding people that can operate like that at that frequency are very few and far between. But we have them. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, we have a lot of franchisers come to Housecall Pro, and they have their parent, we call them. They have all these children accounts, dozens of them, even hundreds of them, that they want to go operate all those children accounts with the children to help them do better. They're a franchisor, and the franchisees, they need that tooling and reporting and visibility from getting help. And so that parent-child structure works well for people who want to operate multiple geos. But it is the exception to the rule. Like, most of our guys are just 1 to 10 person shops out there building a great small business that can, provide a great living for them and their family. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that's really great. That was something interesting I've been looking into lately, is just the franchise model and how the parent can kind of still have some sort of optics on what the company's doing and the finances and the customers and everything, because they are the parent, it's their brand. But that's interesting. So is that a different product within Housecall Pro, or is it still just all the same product?
No, it's just about a number of features we just built, mostly around access to, again, with permissions, for parent to be able to see in a children account, and then reporting that works for the children account and rolls up to the parent as well, so that the parent can help them. And also have, like, a lot of those franchise models that are centralized have a royalty structures they want to actually have. They have the rights to, they want the visibility into the accounting. We just built some functionality around that to make it easier. I mean, most of, like, for 99% of our acquisition in this business over the years I've been here, it's kind of one by one. You go find a pro, you get that pro on board, you help that pro to success. We just have a small part of our business that manages this parent-child or one-to-many approaches that we have. So
Well, okay. So shifting direction a little bit,
Sure.
you're in this unique place where you are collecting an immense amount of data about people in the trades. And I know people are always like, oh, they're stealing our data. And that's a trigger word. But what I mean by taking data is you're collecting information about what kind of work is being done in the trades, who's doing it, income levels. Like, there's having databases of customers and electrical contracting companies is actually really great. And to be able to utilize that data, I think, is really important. There's this weird intersection of AI that's happening right now too. So do you guys have any sort of, view into AI? Well, let me start with that before we get into data. Do you have any kind of use case for AI that you guys are looking into?
Sure. I mean, think about the premise of what AI is, regardless of what all the media hype is and all the kind of BS you listen to here about, right? So AI at its core should be an augmentation to your intelligence, your knowledge, your capacity to make good decisions. At its simplest base. Imagine just being 20 points smarter tomorrow than you are today. Your IQ goes up by 20 points. Imagine that, like how empowering, how powerful that premise is. And so all AI does is it mines information, databases, and learns how to make that information useful to the human. Right? So that you can do something better, so you can be more efficient, so that you can make wiser choices. I mean, that's really the premise of AI in the modern world. It's that simple. Like, there's nothing malicious about it. There's nothing even that grand about it, other than just use information that exists, organize in a way to help humans be smarter in their decision making or in their process in its purest form. So we have lots of information with tens of thousands of customers. We have lots of information on behaviors, right? It's not about your information and your name or your customer details. That's yours. But there's behavioral things that we see happen and how the product gets used. And we can see the patterns, and the machine can see that really well. And it can essentially coach you, give you advice on how to do something. So I think AI is going to be pervasive in our lives. I mean, if people haven't accepted that idea, it's coming. Like, it's coming in every facet of your life, right? From how you talk to Alexa to how you think about making decisions every day. And so as a business, we want to have a point of view on that and say, if we can help the pro make better decisions with some kind of augmented way of thinking, then we've won. Like, again, our whole mission is to help the pro to get to success. If AI can be part of that work stream every day and help you make better decisions as a pro and increase the odds of succeeding and thriving as a service professional, then we've done our work. That's our job, our whole purpose as a company. So to date, it's been through, here's the system of operating system, there's the tools, here are the services. Tomorrow, that will be augmented by hiring a team member that is leveraging information versus, they work 24 hours a day that can help you do X and Y and Z.
Yeah.
And again, kudos to our founders and their vision on how do you do that? How do you take all this information that exists out there in the universe and help our pros make better decisions every day by giving them this other team member or 2 or 3 or 4 that can do these extraordinary things 24/7. And so that's really our vision. That's where we're headed. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with the, consumer data. Like, y'all are mining behaviors and capturing not even just maybe what a business owner is deciding to charge, how much margin, how many kinds of jobs they do over a certain amount of time, so that you can give insights on like, maybe you guys should change your pricing to this. So,
or even just mining all, like, it's an incredible amount of information we've produced over the years on help articles. Right?
Yeah.
That kind of all the answers are in the help articles that we created to feed back to our customer. But most people just don't, it's hard to access. It doesn't have a usability factor to it. But if you actually went through and read, like, whoever reads a manual, you actually read the manual, you'd be smart at the end of it.
Yeah.
So imagine having all of our help articles organized and then extracting that information and feeding it to you in an intuitive way as a pro. So you're like, I need to do this to set up the on my way text. Okay, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, you say, here's why you want to use the on my way text at this moment, in this circumstance, if you didn't think to do it on your own. And again, it just makes you smarter. It makes it more intuitive for you to operate that small business. Like, go back to the beginning of this conversation. Doing the work, easy, highly skilled, highly confident. Building and running a small business, really freaking hard. I mean, like, hard.
So
and if
hard.
we can make that second thing a little bit easier for them, by helping them understand what to do, when to do it, how to do it, man, that's just an incredible blessing. And that's what we're pursuing along those lines.
Yeah. What's interesting is, being that video content creation is what I do now.
Yeah. Really well, as it turns out.
Thank you. Well, what I've realized is there's this massive shift in people's patience. And not even just like my kids' generation. I used to always think, like, my kids, they don't even know what patience is anymore because of this fast, everything's fast. But it's extending now into my generation, into my parents' generation, is like, we're all people of far less patience. So rather than sitting and reading a help article where it's going to take me 10 minutes, if I'm dyslexic, it might take me 15, and I'm circularly reading, and having a short little 1-minute video. I wonder if you guys have thought of this yet, of having like these little tool tips that help people with things that are just really quick, concise video.
We're already testing along those lines. We have a kind of platform that inserts, like, I'm building a service agreement. What's the best way to build my service agreement? Like, show me the templates. And you imagine having just a little 30-second to a minute and a half long video that shows you, tells you how, because you're exactly right. I mean, people don't read anymore. They watch. Yeah. And I can literally watch a YouTube video that will tell me how to do anything I want to do practically in this universe.
Yeah.
And that's just the way people search, and the way they learn today is obviously through video. And so when you connect any medium that helps the person engage the information to get to that better decision, that's, you've been really successful on those lines. And that's our job. It's like, help the pro get to the better outcome, help them be successful. Video is one aspect of it. It's very consumable. It's the way they search, it's the way they learn. Again, the machine AI will eventually coach them in real time along the way around how to do something the best way, what's the right way to do it, why they should do it. Again, so they can make like quick little decisions, not just big ones, on doing X or Y. And we can give them information to do so. So, like, again, like, everything in our philosophy of support and service is built around just helping you do better. There are new ways to do that every day. I think AI just happens to be a big one. It's going to help everybody in the world get smarter and be more capable, right? But you have to choose to engage with it. Like, as a human, you make a choice. It's a fork in the road. You say, well, I'm going to put my head in the sand. I'm going to never be a part of AI. I never, it's dangerous. It's this, it's that. I get it. Like, there's always going to be the sky is falling crowd or the half glass full crowd. I get it. That's human nature. For the people that want to be more successful, they'll open their mind and say, like, the world's changing. How do I embrace the way the world's changing? How can I be better because the world has got better tools for me? I think for those that, in whatever discipline, whether it's Housecall Pro or whether it's in, how my kids learn at school, to whatever the discipline is, I think that machine learning AI is going to really make people just higher IQ, better decision making, and therefore get to better outcomes over time. And if you put your head in the sand and you ignore it, the world is going to pass you by. It's inevitable. And people don't always like hearing that. Like, well, you just tell me I'm bad. I'm not judging you. I'm just sort of telling you the world's moving to where it's moving. People are going to be on board or they're not. And we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, culture shift technologies, culture shift products happen all the time, and there's always the people that are fighting it. I mean, there's people that still will refuse to get a smartphone, right?
Absolutely.
Like they see what it's done over the 20 years that they've been avoiding it.
It's the same person that loved the horse and buggy and saw cars as a threat, right?
Yeah, or the TV with the radio. Yeah,
it's just, it's human nature to fight the thing. You like what you know. I love my horse. I love my horse and buggy. That machine is bad. It's going to ruin everything. It's going to be dangerous to me and society.
Yeah.
In every big seminal moment of the evolution of humans and our society, like that, they've been these points like, that's bad. This is the only thing I know. It's good. And eventually just momentum overtakes, and knowledge and awareness and acceptance overtakes. I think that our smartphone was a great one. Like, you think about horse and buggy, you think about internet, you think about smartphone. AI is probably the next, it appears to be, people way smarter than I am are figuring this stuff out. Just appears to be the next big frontier of seminal change. And people are going to embrace it or not. It's going to make it smarter. They can choose to embrace it now or later, but it's going to happen. And I think technology, our obligation is to make those kinds of tools and resources available to our customer, again, because it aligns with our mission. Help pros be more successful tomorrow than they are today. And that's what our whole deal at Housecall Pro is that. So does having machine learning, coaching, good support on help articles, all those things help them do better? Yeah, it just does. So here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's always people that are running towards the things that they want. Yeah, and there's people that run away from the things that they don't want. Yeah. And I've noticed both of those people can be wildly successful, $100 million company owners. It's like, are you constantly evaluating if something's going to fail, or are you constantly thinking, I don't care what's going to fail, I'm going to run towards things? Yeah. And I think with AI, it's got such a massive adoption right now. Like, most people think what AI is ChatGPT. And it's like, whoa, there's so much to AI. That's just one way that we interface with one type of AI. But I think it's a beautiful thing.
And that's a pull method. Like, I go and I search for something and I get information back.
Right.
And again, all the machine is doing is telling me a better way to do something. Yeah. Right? It's just saying, here are the 10 things you should do to be a better leader, to be a better manager, based on all the data they can go mine that's out there in the universe or in their learning system. Yeah. And it's just coaching you, telling you the best way to do something based on data. That's all it's doing, right? That's a pull model.
And it's our data. It's data that we've already put together.
It's the universe's data. It's whatever's out there in the large universe or whatever system data they had. And it mines and it gives it back better information. All it is, because they figure out the processing power to quickly figure out that answer, and it doesn't take 3 days to get it back.
Right.
Now the world has changed technologically to allow that to happen so that you can get that information back in real time and literally just give you the answer of what to do and why it matters even. And people get really good at asking the questions of the machine. There's also the push model, where it's just sort of like in our interface, it can intuitively just sort of nudge you, coach you if you want to, and get those answers. Just like I'd say, I could search for a help article, or my team player can sort of nudge and push answers to me. Well, which one do you think is going to be more adopted over time? Path of least resistance, most likely.
Right. Yeah.
It's fascinating. How quickly this world and this AI conversation has evolved in just 12 months is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And we have one person who really just is beating the drum, as he always has in our business, around innovation. And I think he's just sort of in awe of how fast this world is coming at us, how much is already here, and really kind of where it's going. It's great for everybody. It really ultimately should be great for our entire society and our universe, and advancing humans along a path, because we just have better information and we're that much smarter tomorrow than we are today. And there we go. And so we'll see how it all plays out. It's not like we have an opinion, we have a point of view, because we're a thoughtful company and we're following that point of view and we're building and investing on that point of view. But because how quickly it's changing, who knows what it'll be in 30 days, in a year, and it actually happens. We're just trying to be informed and invest along and do things that we think can help our customer do better. And so we'll see how it plays out. We're very thoughtful, very cautious, very methodical about it. to make sure we're protecting everybody's interests appropriately as we learn along the way. So no matter what, like our fundamental business is built around service that customer, smarter, better, more capable tomorrow than they are today. We are in service to them and their success. And we do that through tools. We give them technology, we give them services, we give them support. And so far, good things have happened. And the business has grown to the tens of thousands of customers that have been successful using this platform. And it's just amazing how robust it is compared to those early days when we were an operating system to these 5 things well. And today, it's just, you can do just damn near anything. It's amazing.
Well, Brooks, it was great talking to you, man. You guys really are doing a good job. I've met people that have used Housecall Pro, and I've met people that are still using Housecall Pro, and I don't hear bad reviews. I don't hear people saying, oh, I wish it could do this. It doesn't do this. Everybody that I get that's using it is like, this is so helpful. It's so awesome. So as a company, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. And thank you for taking the time to be here and talk to me.
It was such a pleasure. Like I love talking about what we get to do as a business and service to our customer, because I think it's a gift. I mean, it's an unbelievable blessing in my life to have joined this company and to have seen it grow and succeed the way it has. I talk about it at dinner with my family. I talk about it with our friends. It is my mission in life is just service this customer. And I get to live that story every day. So we feel incredibly blessed, incredibly fortunate to be able to sit here and do the work we do every day. And thank you for even inviting me to be able to go talk about the passion we have and the things we invest in for this customer. And it's nice to hear that you're on the same path as well. And you've been able to accomplish this incredible scale and reach and influence to so many people in the trade. So kudos to you as well. And thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, buddy. Take it easy. Thank you.
Thank you.